right, good afternoon. This is Attorney Vincent Davis, and this is The Secret, How to Fight CPS and Win. Today we're going to be taking your calls, answering your questions, and listening to your stories. And I have a very special guest that's going to be joining us today. She's an attorney.
Yes, hi, how are you this afternoon?
I'm doing fine. How are you doing?
Excellent. Thank you for asking.
What's been going on with your cases these days? Are you have anything interesting going on?
Oh, gosh, I sure do. I had a case last week where a mother of an infant, a newborn, had at birth suffered a stroke in the hospital. CPS was called. They assumed the stroke was brought on by drug use, and they placed the baby in foster care despite the availability of several maternal relatives who had stable homes and stable lives in the same community. The attorney, the court-appointed attorney for the mother, at the first 6-month review, of course, mom is still, she was actually in a coma for a little bit, so she's rehabilitating, speech therapy, physical therapy. At the first hearing, mom asked if she had to appear. The attorney said, no, I'll waive your appearance, and submitted on termination of reunification services, which of course starts the time for adoption to go through, 120 days. So we got the case about a month after the 6-month review, and I was just able on a JB 180 to get the 21E reset. So we're going to start back from there, and we're not going to submit on reunification services. I also obtained a hair follicle test for mom, which is negative for all substances. And we have the speech therapy and physical therapy, which was so important to the social worker during those first 6 months that mom complete to get her child back. I mean, I don't think there's any law that says you have to complete speech or physical therapy. In fact, I think we might be running afoul of the ADA here. So it's very interesting, and I'm very happy that we were able to turn that around this month.
Wow, that sounds like a great job. What happened at the jurisdictional part of this case? Was she in the hospital at that time?
Correct.
And
Juris was taken on the, there were no hospital records indicating maternal drug use. The social worker just, it was her knee-jerk reaction because the family does have a history, from 10 or 15 years ago with drug use, but there's been nothing since 10 or 15 years ago. So it was, a complete leap of faith or non-faith, as it were, by the social worker to remove from mom. A police officer even went to the home at the bequest of the father and found everything was okay, but still the social worker didn't accept that. Okay, meaning that the child would be safe in the grandparents' care.
Wow.
But placement was never done. So, yeah.
Do you think there's any possibility or likelihood of maybe even setting aside the dispositional case plan or court orders?
Well, that's we just got in the case. That is what I'm shooting for. But I'm pretty happy that I get to go back on the 21E and, the attorney for the mom, of course, didn't tell the mom what was at stake at this hearing. So we're sure don't bother coming. When mom was able to contact her after the 21E or the 6-month review hearing, she said, oh, well, don't worry about it. We have another hearing in a couple months. I'll let you know. Not telling her that, oh, this is the, adoption hearing.
Right.
So there's some issues there with, let's say, ineffective assistance of counsel.
Right. Wow, I'm shocked to hear that story. I thought I've heard everything. I've never heard a story like that.
It is. Well, and the mother still isn't able to speak well. I communicate through the maternal grandmother with the client sitting, right there. She's not able to articulate and use sounds with her voice. There's nothing at all mentally wrong with her, and so probably the social worker just decided that was too much effort for her to have to, work with the family in that way. That's what seems to have happened, and they counted the family out, but that's not the case.
Do you think it was some type of stroke, or what do you think happened?
It was definitely a stroke. In fact, she had two, but they weren't related to. And then they tried to say that it was related to domestic violence, that she was hit in the head by the father, and that caused it. Of course, they had no substantial evidence to support that.
Right. Amazing. It's a good thing that they came to us and you were assigned to the case. Is this case in Southern California or Northern?
No, Northern.
Okay. I don't want you to name the county, but I've had some.
No, I won't. I won't.
I've had some interesting cases, from some of these Northern California counties.